Hi, and welcome to Where Are They Now? I'm your host, Heather Winstead, class of 1985. I'm here today with Trina Teele in her own office, class of 1982. Welcome to the show.
Oh, welcome. Happy to be here.
Thank you. So wonderful things are happening, and obviously in the town of Chelmsford with all the art. But we'll flash back to when you first got started in working with art. I mean, did it happen in elementary school, or was it really a high school thing? And how did you really first figure out that you were going to potentially have artistic talents?
Yeah, I think I in high school really was when I got feedback on my art. I always loved to do art, but I never really got a whole lot of feedback until high school.
Yeah. And who was the art teacher that really found you? Was it because you had to take art, or?
Oh no, I wanted to take art,
Okay.
and the specific art teacher who really left an impression on me was Paula Brown.
Okay.
And yeah, I wanted to be an art teacher after I met her. I just thought, oh, that's the perfect thing.
Really?
Yeah.
Now, what did your parents think of the profession as far as art and stuff like that? You said you didn't get feedback, but while you were young, were you doing drawings or those kind of things? And
I was always interested in craft projects
Yeah.
and drawing and painting and
Yeah.
taking any. I wanted to take any sort of extracurricular that involved anything with art.
And what did your parents think?
They were fine. My older brother was into sports, and
Okay.
my older sister was into music. I felt art was like a natural choice for me.
Yeah.
But I did get encouraged to do sports and music as well.
I mean, it's pretty nice at CHS, though. I think we've always had great after-school programs and those kind of things, and during the school day being maybe pushed by a dean or a teacher or something like that. I mean, was that kind of the thing? I know, you said Paul Brown, but were there other teachers that, when you did presentations or stuff like that, that ever gave you any feedback?
Nothing really stands out. High school was so long ago, but I know Paula was my biggest impression. But I remember it wasn't Dean Doherty at the time. He was an English teacher,
Yeah.
and I had him for English, and he kind of inspired a little creative writing for me.
Yeah.
So I liked that.
So the first mural at Chelmsford High was by you.
Yep.
And where did that come from? I mean, where was the inspiration, or was it like, you walk down the hall and see a wall and say, I need to put something there? Like, how did that all come to be?
Well, you have to remember all the walls were white, so it. I don't know if it occurred to me that I should paint a mural. It might have been Paula's suggestion,
Yeah.
or Mrs. Brown's suggestion. And it was 1980, and John Lennon had just been shot. And I think, like any high school student, it's music is so important. And I wanted to do something, in my own way. And so I took the lyrics to one of his most popular songs and put it up there. All we are saying is give peace a chance. And then I did a very graphic design sort of painting of a sun with a dove and a rainbow. And it was very graphic design.
Yeah.
But it was fun to make something so big and put it up on the walls. And
So did you do it after school or part of a school project? How did they give you the A-OK to do it?
I think it was part of a class. I
Okay.
think I might have stayed after a couple times, but I think I was able to do it during the school day.
And you did it by yourself?
Yeah.
Because there's been other murals, but usually there's 2-3 people that worked on it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you remember at any time were there students like walking by,
Oh, yeah.
asking you questions,
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
or giving you suggestions at all?
Oh, I don't know if I got any suggestions. I definitely remember people,
Yeah.
noticing me there in the hallway
Right.
painting.
And do you think it had an impact?
I think it did. It stayed up for a long time. I know it's
Yeah.
not there anymore, and so I was pleased that it stayed up as long as it did.
We should probably work on getting you a plaque, though, at least where it was, right? And put it up there.
Yeah, I don't know. There's so many murals there now, and you think of all the mural artists who got to paint at the high school.
Yeah.
I think it'd be a long list.
But as a first, I mean that really was an art. Art is an inspirational thing, right? And so somebody sees something and says, okay, now I want to do something bigger, better, or whatever.
Uh-huh.
So in truth, all of the talents that are coming out of Chelmsford High since '80 are, you can pat yourself on the back.
Oh,
for that. Right? Now, did your daughters went to Chelmsford High? Did they have artistic talents, or
Yes, I think
was the mural still up when they went?
I think it was. Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
They both have artistic talents for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not like you, they didn't paint a mural.
Oh no, they didn't pay me. Not that I know of.
They were going to tell you, huh? The art thing is, but it's, for you, like you just said, your daughters have talents. So was there your mom, dad, aunt, uncle, or anybody that really had it that you were watching from your family, or no?
No, I don't think so. I don't know. We had a lot of distant relatives on my mother's side of the family, and so I did meet a few artists through that. But I just liked doing it, so that's what I did.
So did Miss Brown? Did she push you to go off to college to become an artist? And what was that process like when you're graduating? Are you saying to yourself like, this is really my passion and this is what I want to do, and how do I make it something more?
No. No.
I went to college thinking I was just going to get some sort of liberal arts degree. I didn't know what I was going to do with it.
Yeah.
I think the smallest inkling I had was that I could become an art teacher, so maybe I should get an education certificate.
Yeah.
I came from a family of teachers. Everybody in my family was a teacher.
No art teachers, though.
No art teachers.
Okay. Yeah.
Music teacher, science teacher, kindergarten teacher, math
Yeah.
teacher. So I thought that was the closest thing that I could imagine happening.
Yeah.
And I just figured my first year I'll try it out, see what college is like. Maybe something will pop up. And I ended up transferring to UMass after a semester because I was at Trinity College in Hartford.
Yeah.
And I just felt like I didn't have enough choice when I was there. Right. And when I transferred to UMass, they gave me a talent award, which was really nice. It was very affirming and made me want to stay.
Through your portfolio?
Yeah, through my portfolio. Actually, it was after one semester there, so they got to work with me for a semester. So, but it was really, it just felt like the right thing to do after that, for sure. So, yeah.
So it was the transferring there and like just confirmation that art was your thing.
Yeah.
That was the path to go.
Yeah.
Wow. And then you hadn't thought about UMass Amherst previous?
I had.
Oh, I had.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So same path at UMass though? You decided to do murals, or was that based on projects that the professors were giving you, or where did that come from?
That actually came from projects, from classes. I ended up doing 3 murals, or 4 murals, I guess, when I was at UMass. One was a contest to almost decorate the walls at the new Career Center at the time. And I won the contest. So again, it was a very graphic design sort of design that I put up there. That Career Center isn't up anymore.
Okay.
So those murals are gone. And the other 2 were on stairwells at the library. They have a 26-story library tower there.
Okay.
And so it was the first year they were deciding to put murals on each floor, each landing between each floor. And so they had lots of wall space, and I was, among the many who got to put up murals.
Yeah. Did you have to show them something of what you were going to draw and those kind of things?
Yeah.
For both cases, you have to do what you call a mock-up, where you sort of plan it out, do it to scale, and the same colors you're going to use.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's pretty amazing, though.
Yeah.
Like, so when you look at a stairwell, though, I mean, do you visualize something, or was there something that you were passionate at that time of drawing and painting, or those kind of things, or because I know that you seem to have changed different times of what you're painting.
I see what you're saying. Yeah.
Yeah.
I was being schooled in graphic design.
Okay.
I did have painting classes, but most of my painting classes I ended up painting the figure. And
Okay.
so
Right.
I
Okay.
wasn't, I
Yeah.
was going to put the figure up
The
on.
figure wasn't going up on the wall.
So,
Okay.
so everything sort of boiled down to graphic design,
Yeah.
and rightly so.
Right. And so, what graphic design you get out of college, and what were you? That was your goal, is to stay with it, or?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I at one point wanted to be a teacher, but
Yeah.
I got a little bit concerned that I wouldn't be able to teach because I didn't feel like an artist. I wanted to make sure I felt like an artist before I was going to teach anybody how to do art.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
So, it might have just been my own insecurity. I don't
Right.
know. It's taken me a long time to be able to feel like an artist. So, but that's always been going on in the back of my mind.
Right.
Anyway, so I did the graphic design right
Yeah.
out of college. I had a very, very brief time at a design house in Tingsboro, where as soon as I started, I had been there actually as an intern for 2
Yeah.
weeks during spring break. So I came back as soon as I graduated, and like the week I started, the art director told me that she was leaving, and then a week after that, the creative director told me he was leaving, and so I was there with the typesetter,
Yeah.
trying to hold this thing together. And it was old school graphic design, so
Yeah.
back then you didn't have computers, so everything was, you draw something very carefully, you take a photostat picture of it, and then you cut it out and you paste it together. And that was graphic design. So that job I just was thrown into the
Now, did you know coming out of college you wanted to move back to Chelmsford? Because just a comfort level, or those kind of things, or?
Well, yeah, to be back with my family was,
Yeah.
I think that was the norm back then.
Yeah.
Although I ended up marrying my high school sweetheart.
Okay.
And he had come back here. He had a job.
Yeah.
And so we ended up coming back here together. So
Did he go far from Chelmsford, or no?
No, he didn't go far either.
Okay. Exactly. Not many do.
Yeah.
I mean.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was why I came back.
Okay.
Um,
But to go from Tingsboro, so it was convenient though. Too.
Yeah, I actually used to ride my bike to work, and
From here to Tingsboro.
I was living in Lowell at the time,
Okay.
briefly in Lowell, yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, so that job was old school graphic design,
Yeah.
and through a series of circumstances, I ended up having to do a drawing on a computer in order to save face at the at the job. Basically, I had quoted a job for them. I was inexperienced and I didn't know what I was doing. I quoted a brochure for them where I said that the little floor plans in the brochure, which I knew I couldn't draw because
Okay.
I'm not neat enough that way, I figured I'd have to farm those out.
Yeah.
And I looked at them and I thought, well, they're little things. They're probably 100 apiece.
Right.
And I was way off. They were 400 apiece. So I had to come up with a way to get these drawings done.
Right. You couldn't farm it out.
So my husband or boyfriend at the time, I said, couldn't we do these on a computer and you could print them out in your laser writer?
Yeah.
And they'd be clean. And he said, I think you could do that. So he brought the computer home. It was a Mac 256.
Yeah.
And we stayed up all night learning McDraw,
Really?
which is a
Yeah.
really old software. But it had the ability to draw to scale.
Mhm.
So I could draw these things to scale, and then he'll take it back to work, print it out for me, and then yay, we've got something to work with. So the next job I got was because his company where he was working, they had the technical illustrator there, who left her position. She left her
Yeah.
position open, and so I interviewed there and I got it.
Wow.
So I went from old school paste up right to working on a computer. And it made so much sense to me because
Right. Yeah.
you can undo.
So it kind of fell into it.
Yeah.
Now, speaking about bike riding, so you both were a big bicyclist when you were in college too, or talk to me about
I think because I could never afford a really nice car, the bicycle was just like a
Okay.
sure thing.
Yeah.
I knew
And
it.
so, talk to me about this bike trip and was it right after college that you decided to bike up to Nova Scotia, or where did that come from? Or because you were in shape from going to work?
No, it was actually before
Okay.
before I graduated.
Okay.
So it was the summer before my final year.
Okay.
And I worked half the year,
Yeah.
and then saved all that money. And I went up with 4 friends. We rode our bicycles from Chelmsford all the way up to Nova Scotia. We went up the coast of Maine, up on Route 1,
Yep.
and we got up to St. John, St. John, New Brunswick,
Yeah.
and then took a ferry over to Digby.
Okay.
And then we rode around in Nova Scotia a little bit and then came back. And we came down through Maine through the Moosehead Lake region.
Yeah.
So we saw a lot of, a lot of places that
How
we
long
don't.
did it take you?
We took 40 days.
40 days.
Yeah. Yeah.
And did you camp out? Like,
Yeah, we camped out every
Yeah.
night, and many times without a campground. Just
Yeah.
we found a place to camp, and it was really empowering because I had no idea I could get so far on my
Right.
bicycle.
Right.
So it was a good
Did you
experience.
bump into a moose or anything, or?
I actually hit a truck
Oh, okay, that's not what I was expecting, but okay.
on my second day. I was the only one wearing a helmet. The other people did not wear helmets.
Okay.
And I was contemplating, maybe I don't need the helmet.
Yeah.
But I was coming down a hill on Route 1, and the truck turned in front of me. And so I was braking as fast as much as I could, but it wasn't enough.
Yeah.
And I just tapped sort of the back end of his truck as he turned, and I just tumbled into Route 1.
And that was day 2.
That was day 2.
And you decided, I'm going to make it another 38 after this.
Yeah, I guess I wasn't thinking very clearly. I was thinking clearly enough to know, I'm going to keep wearing my helmet.
Did your friends decide to get helmets?
No, they did
No.
not.
Okay.
So I was the only one.
What about like bad weather? Anything? I mean, you drive up the coast. I mean, the winds are whipping and those
Yeah.
anything like that?
I mean, we'd have rain, torrential rains here and there.
Yeah.
But that was it.
That was it.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
So do you still ride a bike?
Not as much, no. I love to, but I don't have a reason to as much,
Work is too close now?
Yeah, really. Yeah, I love the Chelmsford bike path. That was definitely one of my favorite things about Chelmsford. Yeah. And I actually was part of the art walk a few years ago in Chelmsford, and we were told to come up with something that we love about Chelmsford. And I thought, well, I love the bike path, so I'm going to celebrate the bike path. And I put up a little art installation at the Chelmsford gift shop.
Yeah. Wow. So what are you doing now? I mean, you're full-fledged art teacher or just artist and selling artwork? Where are you at now?
Well, I think as an artist, you end up wearing many hats.
Yeah.
And so I am still a graphic designer. I have my own business that I've had since 1999.
Okay.
And I do that out of my house mostly, as a freelancer. And then I got this studio in 2012, and so I do my art here.
Yeah.
I try not to bring my computer here because I feel like it distracts me.
Right.
So, but I do my paintings here, and I get to show at different gallery spaces and juried shows and events like that. And then my most new thing is being a teacher, and that was it started in 2011. I was asked to do kind of an obscure thing with a ministry called Under the Oak, and that's something in Lowell, and they still are going. But when they started, they wanted to be more of an artistic ministry, where they brought artistic creativity to the marginal.
Oh, okay.
And so I was asked to come in there as the art teacher, and I was amazed that anybody would call me such a thing.
Yeah.
But it was very enlightening. I did it for I think a year and a half, and gave me a little bit of confidence. And then I was approached by a place called The Art of Wine in Lowell, which is part of Tutto Bene, and they had a paint night. Yeah. So I was asked if I wanted to do that, and I didn't think I did. I thought for sure, I'm not going to like this. People are drinking. I'm not going to like it. But it was so fun. Yeah. People are so excited to have paints in front of them.
Yeah.
And there's no pressure that you don't have to worry if it's done right.
Right.
There's no wrong.
Right.
So it was really a fun place to teach.
Yeah.
And when they ended up closing their doors in 2014, and I said, well, can I buy your stuff?
Oh yeah.
So
Yeah.
so I was able to buy all their easels and
Yeah.
and supplies and such, and set up here.
Yeah.
And I found that a lot of the students who came regularly to the Art of Wine
Yeah.
said that they weren't there for the wine.
Right.
They
Yeah.
were really
They're
there for
there
the
for
painting.
Yeah.
And I thought, why not? I mean, people want to paint, they just don't have it in front of them. And so so got it all set up here, and people came.
Yeah.
And so
So now you've said that you're inspired by different things, being down at the Cape, the beach, or Nantucket, in those areas. I mean, you drove up the coast of Maine, obviously. You like the ocean, those
Yeah.
kind of things.
Yeah.
Like, so where do you draw what you want to? Where's your inspiration? But then how do you give that to other people when you're teaching?
Okay. Well, I think that for me, I learned, I don't know, probably 2008 or 9, I went to a talk by a gallery owner.
Yeah.
And one of the things I took away from that talk was that it is really worth it as an artist to spend time on one subject for, not just one painting.
Right.
Do 5, 12, 100
Yeah.
of that same subject.
Yeah.
Really get to know it. And so at that time, I was just sort of starting back into painting. When I was in college, I painted a lot of figures. I had, my senior show was figures and music. And when I graduated and went on, I didn't paint that often, but when I would, I had my 2 young children. So I would paint my young children, and that was, the theme that I had back then. And then right around at that time, I heard the talk, and I thought, well, I'm going to paint sunflowers. And so I painted a lot of sunflowers. Most of them are sold at this point, but I really enjoyed it, and I had people call me the sunflower lady briefly, which was very sweet.
Yeah.
And then from there, I had another theme. I had themes of painting fruit and painting still lifes with big reflections in the. I had glasses of wine, reflections in the glass of wine. So I would paint subject matter for a long stretch of time before I decided to do something else. Yeah. And my paintings, mostly since 2015, have been boat paintings, nautical paintings, and various reasons that I did that. But it's something that I can't commit myself to anything, it seems,
okay.
but I can commit myself for a little while.
Right.
So I don't know how long these nautical paintings will go.
Yeah.
I've been dabbling in little paintings of farm animals recently, and so I mean it goes all over the place.
Right. So, but how about when you're teaching though? I mean, do you find that you just ask somebody to find their passion or something that kind of inspires them for that first one, or?
Yeah, I think that people have already taken that step when they come to the class.
Okay, I can't be an artist. I'd have nothing. Okay.
Well, when you come to the class where I'm doing a paint night,
Yeah.
The painting is already decided.
Oh, okay.
It's almost like as if I was doing a cooking class, and we're going to make quiche.
Yep.
Yep. So you're all going to come in and make quiche.
Yeah.
And you have the same ingredients.
Mm-hmm. I'm
I'm going to step you through the steps, and we're all going to go home with quiche. But it comes out differently each time. Sometimes it's a souffle,
Yeah.
and sometimes it's scrambled eggs. So
I know where I'd be.
the point is to have fun doing it,
Right.
because when else are you going to have that kind of fun?
Right. Well, I guess. I don't know. I'm not sure. If you're competitive like me and it comes out like a scrambled eggs, how do you inspire that person to come back?
I don't think it ever comes out like
Yeah.
scrambled eggs.
Okay.
Honestly,
Yeah.
I think back, and I have a lot of students who come back
Yeah.
again and again.
Right.
And I start to see their styles.
Right.
You know, they're developing their own styles, and I just think that's the beauty of it all, is
Right.
just to see that happening.
And it probably would be nice for you to, I'm going to go back to your first mural, because I said that you were probably an inspiration to all kinds of kids at Chelmsford High, that they saw something in what you were doing, right? And they see it, and then they're inspired by certain things.
Right. Yes.
So you know what I mean? So you have led the way.
Yeah, and honestly, when you're in a group environment like that,
Yeah.
painting, you see what the person next to you is doing,
Right.
and that inspires you. So
Yeah.
it's surprising to people. I think you would be surprised if you came, that you could do it. And
Well, I don't know. I mean, I am so inspired by the amount of kids and students and now adults that have gone from Chelmsford High to what they have done as artists. I mean, we have such a long legacy now, and it's incredible that you started it. So I want to thank you very much for being here on Where Are They Now? I mean, it was great to hear it. And maybe I will try to put paint to something. I don't know, besides my walls at home. So thank you very much, Trina, for being here. It was so wonderful to meet you.
thank you.